The echoes of Raven's Peak. The town of Raven's Peak was never the same after the night the stars went out. It started with just a few scattered reports of dimmer skies, but within a week, the entire town was shrouded in an inky blackness that seemed to suffocate its residents. People tried to adapt, but the lack of starlight seemed to seep into their souls, filling them with a creeping sense of dread. I arrived in Raven's Peak on a crisp autumn morning, eager to investigate the strange occurrences that had been plaguing the town. As a journalist, I had a knack for sniffing out the truth, and I was determined to get to the bottom of the mystery. My first stop was the local sheriff's office, where I met with a gruff but affable man named Sheriff Jenkins. He told me about the strange noises that had been echoing through the town at night. Whispers, creaks, and groans that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at the same time. "It's like the town itself is trying to tell us something," he said, his eyes clouding over with concern. "But I'll be darned if I know what it's trying to say." I spent the rest of the day interviewing residents, gathering stories of strange occurrences and unexplained events. But it wasn't until nightfall that I experienced the true horror of Raven's Peak. I was walking back to my hotel, the darkness seeming to press in around me like a physical force, when I heard it. A low, mournful whisper that seemed to come from all around me, speaking a language I couldn't understand. The words were indistinct, but the tone was unmistakable, a cold, mirthless laughter that seemed to seep into my very bones. I quickened my pace, but the whispering grew louder, more urgent. I felt like I was being herded towards some unknown destination, the darkness closing in around me like a trap. And then I saw it, a figure standing in the distance, its presence seeming to draw the darkness towards it like a magnet. The whispering grew louder still, until it was almost deafening, and I felt myself being pulled towards the figure with an inexorable force. I tried to run, but my feet seemed rooted to the spot. The figure began to move towards me, its presence filling me with a sense of creeping dread. I felt like I was staring into the abyss, with no escape from the horrors that lurked within. The last thing I remembered was the sound of my own screams, echoing through the darkness of Raven's Peak, as the figure loomed closer, its presence consuming me whole. The next morning, the people of Raven's Peak awoke to find me gone, my hotel room empty, and my car still parked outside. Some say that on certain nights, when the darkness is at its most profound, you can still hear my screams echoing through the empty streets of Raven's Peak, a chilling reminder of the horrors that lurk in the shadows, waiting to consume us all.